right, and we are live. Hello, 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 everyone. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We're getting ready for our Thursday night conversation. Yes, yes, and yes. So, for those of you who do not know who I am, and I just popped up in your feed as a live video that you need to watch. My name is Dr. Carey Yazeed. I am a business strategist, and I am the founder and creator of the Beauty Brains and Business Network, which includes an online blog, a virtual business directory, and a weekly podcast that focuses on female entrepreneurs. I have owned several businesses in my lifetime, in my adult lifetime. And those businesses have ranged from me being in mental health private practice for over 20 years before I actually retired and walked away. Also owning a publishing company, which I still own, where I have published every book that I've written under that publishing company. Also, at one point, I owned an African American bookstore. And I also have had a bath and body products shop that I had online. So that was virtual in Etsy store. I've also been a black and white photographer. So I've done a couple of things in my lifetime when it comes to business, entrepreneurship, and why I do what I do now, which is help other females to start successful businesses and to help them to grow and leverage those businesses as well. So I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to join me again on a Thursday night. And just an FYI, I'm usually on every Thursday night. I go live, and it's usually around the same time, which is 9 p.m. Eastern. So who's been keeping up with the news? So if you know, today, those new employment statistics were released. Last week when I came and talked to you all, it was 16 million. Well, today we are at 22 million people have filed for unemployment. Now, keep in mind, that is not the people who were currently on the unemployment rolls before COVID-19 struck America. Since that time, so we're talking about 3 to 4 weeks now, there are now 22 million people who have filed for unemployment. Data was released. Well, actually, the governor of Florida, he did a press conference. And so out of the state of Florida, only 4% of the people who have filed for unemployment are actually receiving checks. And that is something that I've been talking to you all about over and over again. Just because you file for unemployment doesn't mean that it's going to kick in automatically. The other problem that they're running into is that a lot of the state's unemployment systems, their websites have not been updated with the new information that has come in from the federal government, nor the new rates, which includes that extra $600 is going to be given to those who are on unemployment. Stimulus checks went out to some people, but everybody didn't get their $1,200 check this week. So now we have people who were depending on that $1,200 and they didn't get it. So there are glitches in the system. There are small businesses out there that have applied for the payroll protection loan. Those haven't come through. Some businesses, they applied for the disaster relief. Those haven't come through. So why am I saying all this? Dr. Kira, why are you saying all of this? I'm saying all of this because if you have been sitting there waiting for the government to come through and save you, what we are seeing is that a lot of promises were made, but right now, they don't have a system in place to back up those promises. They put the promises out there, but the system has not been set up to get the funds where they need to be. That becomes a problem for our small businesses. Why is that a problem? Because some small businesses have been closed too long. And in them being closed that long, they have lost so much revenue that there's no coming back. So we are predicting that the unemployment rolls are going to increase. Those numbers, that 22 million, is going to increase even more by the end of April going into May, because some businesses are set up on a net 60 and a net 90. So bills that they have that are out there, those bills have not hit. When those bills hit, that means if they don't have any relief from the government, those businesses are going to have to let people go. So as we talk about this, and we're having this conversation about, you need to start creating your own safety net. Now, I'm not going to tell anybody to take their $1,200 and start a business. Not in this economy. What I am going to tell you to do is, I need you to start looking at your gifts and your talents and see how you can start to make a profit from them with spending $0. That's right, $0. Sometimes you don't have to spend money to make money. And there's this big misconception around that. And that's something that we all need to, sometimes take a step back and really think about. You don't have to pour your life savings into something to get it started. Look for all of the free resources. So if you're sitting there and these numbers that I'm throwing out, they're starting to hit you, and you're saying, okay, Dr. Carey, what can I do? If you have not grabbed a copy of my book, How to Make Money During the Corona Economy, I need you to head on over to thebeautybrainsandbusiness.com. There you can grab a copy. And the way I have it set up, I did not put a price on it. So if you can't afford it, that's fine. If God places it on your heart to give a donation, I thank you in advance. So there's a resource there. In that book, I give you 28 ways that you can start generating money from your home and spend $0. That's right. So you can start making some money from your house using your computer, using your cell phone, using your gifts and talents right now. So if you haven't picked up a copy, head on over to thebeautybrainsandbusiness.com and grab your copy today. Again, if you don't have any money to pay for it, that's not a problem. If you want to make a donation, I thank you. So as I'm talking about your gifts and your talents, let's have a conversation about that. I run into a lot of people, and when we start talking about their gifts and their talents, they'll say, well, nobody's going to pay me for that. Like, yeah, no. Like, yeah, I'm great at art. I take good pictures. Nobody's going to pay for that, Dr. Carey. And I'm just like, why not? And they'll say, well, that's a hobby. That's something that I like to do for fun. You have to remember this, that when you're in business, it should be something that you enjoy doing. It should be something that brings you joy, that you are happy, that you get out of bed every day ready to go and do what it is that you do. And that usually lies within your gifts and your talents. What I notice is that when it comes to especially women, that we will be blessed with all of these gifts and these talents. And we feel that we can't take them and monetize them. There's this guilt that holds us back. There's also you want to not do what you've been called to do. So I have this belief. I'm a woman of faith, and I believe that God calls all of us. We are put here to carry out certain assignments, to complete certain missions, and they are based on our gifts and our talents. We like to go in and rewrite the playbook. So we stand in our own way. We don't want to do what we've been called to do, and we run in the opposite direction. And then that's when life starts to get a little bit difficult and a little bit more uncomfortable, because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're doing what you want to do. And there's a difference. So when we talk about our gifts and talents, we like to separate them from what we think or this is me as a professional or as a business. This is what people are going to pay for. They are not going to pay because I make beautiful art. They are not going to pay because I am a writer. They are not going to pay me because I am a musician. They are not going to pay me for whatever. And that's all in your head. You are coming up with those excuses. You don't know what people are going to pay you for. Why? Because you never stop to ask those people what they would pay you for. Also, when we talk about our gifts and our talents, and I've been faced with this sometimes where I had someone tell me, you're not supposed to charge for that because God blessed you with those gifts and talents. So because God blessed you, you are supposed to bless everybody else. Now, I say this, God gives us gifts and talents so that we can take care of our households and we can take care of ourselves. And in taking care of our households and taking care of ourselves, we see right now that nothing is for free because landlords still want their money. The mortgage company still wants their money. Some of those student loans, they are still collecting interest and they sending out notices. The bills are still coming. So yes, you might have those gifts and those talents, and someone might think that you're not supposed to charge for them, but how are you supposed to take care of yourself? How do you take care of your household if you are not using what God has given you to go out and provide for your family? So some people like to, take the Bible and thump it upside your head the wrong way. And so, yeah, I had someone tell me that they weren't going to pay me because God had blessed me, and so I needed to bless them. That's not how business works. But a lot of us, especially women, that is how we think. And so we feel guilty when we have to put a price tag on our gifts and our talents. Some of us will undercharge because we feel guilty talking about money. We feel guilty asking people for what we are truly worth. Think about that. Some of us feel guilty when we have to really put a price tag on it and say, this is how much I am worth to do X, Y, and Z. This is what it is going to cost you because you're paying for all the education that I had to get. You're paying for all the training that I had to go through. You're paying for all of the books that I had to read. You're paying for all the nights that I set up to be and study to become the individual that I am so that I can pour into you. We take that we don't look at that in ourselves. And so we devalue ourselves. So that is something that as women, we really need to check ourselves and stop doing. Instead, you need to sit down and start thinking about, if I do X, Y, and Z, how much does that really cost? Like, how much time am I having to put into this? You also have to keep in mind, what are my overhead expenses? And when I say overhead, it's not just your business expenses, but what about your household expenses as well? So no, you are not supposed to be giving away your gifts and your talents. God gave them to you so that you can provide for yourself and your family. Now, if you're sitting there, you're listening to this and you're like, well, Dr. Carey, I don't know what my gifts and my talents are. I don't know what people would pay me to do. You have a homework assignment. So your homework assignment is that I want you to pull out that cell phone. Hopefully everybody's cell phone is still on. Pull out your cell phone, and I want you to send a text message to 10 people. And your text message is going to ask them to describe you using 10 words, and you do not want them to use complete sentences. When they hear your name, what comes to their mind? When they see you, what are some things that they think about? Once you get all 10 of your answers back, pull out a sheet of paper and write all of the words down. Then I want you to take a highlighter and start to highlight the things or the words that you keep seeing over and over again. The words that you see over and over again, those become your brand. And it also starts to reveal what your gifts are for. Also, these are the things that people think about when they think about you. So for me, when I did this exercise, what I got back from my 10 people was that I empower, that I motivate, I inspire, that I write. So because I've helped people to write letters, that I'm opinionated, I always have an opinion, and that, I stand up for other people. So those are some of the common words that they use. Hustler was another word. Business was another word, because I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always owned a business, regardless if it was part-time or full-time. I always had my own thing going on. But when I saw those words, it really made me sit back and say, this is how other people view me. And they see these traits in me as being very valuable. That these are people that actually are paying me to motivate them, to inspire them, to help them start their businesses, because those were the people that I asked to do the exercise. So this exercise really gives you some clarity on how other people view you and why other people come to you. That this is your gift, this is your talent that they know you have, and nobody else has this talent but you. Once you get that back, if you have a copy of my ebook, How to Make Money in the during the Corona Economy, sit down and look at the list, the 27 things that I give you, and see how do some of those align with your gifts and your talents. How can you use those compared with who you are and how people see you to start generating money now? The reason that most of us don't make money, the reason that most of us hold on to jobs that we really don't like, that we know we are not being valued, that we know they're not treating us right, that we know they have passed us over for that promotion about 10 times, is because sometimes we feel we don't have other options. We feel that that's it, that we are stuck. And I say that honestly because I was that person. When I was in the field of social work, again, for 23 years, I felt that I couldn't do anything else. Now, mind you, I had all of these other businesses that I did. So I technically knew I could do something else, but I always felt that I couldn't do those things full time, that my bread and butter had to come from, I've got a degree in this, I got to make this work. And the thing was, it wasn't working. I wasn't getting pay raises. I had a master's degree, and at one point, I'm in 16 years, and I'm only making $50,000 a year. Single parent with 2 kids. Now, some people sitting there and they saying, "Girl, that's a lot of money." When you have a master's degree and you making $50,000 a year, you are going into neighborhoods that most people need a bulletproof vest to go into that neighborhood, but instead all you have between you and a bullet is a manila folder. You putting your life on the line every day. I was worth more than $50,000. And it was not until I found myself in a horrible situation with an employer where I literally was forced. I had to walk away. It was that or my mental health. And when I left, I felt like a part of me had just been taken away, because all I knew how to do was social work all those years. And I had to sit down and I really had to think about what's next. What can I do? And I had to sit down and assess myself. I had to send that text message out to 10 people to find out what other people were willing to pay me to do. What did they see in me that I did not see in myself? That's so valuable. And when I received those messages back, it lit a fire inside of me. It also helped to boost my confidence. And as I talk about females and I talk about entrepreneurship and just the notion of starting a business, in addition to us not knowing what our gifts and talents are, or we know what they are and we feel timid about charging, or we feel guilty, just flat out guilt about putting a price tag on it. The other reason that a lot of women shy away from starting a business is because you've heard no so many times. You don't have the support that you need. You don't have that safety net. You don't have that group of like-minded people cheering you on and saying, wait, hold up. You're getting in your way. You got this, girlfriend. Keep going. You can do that. And again, that was me. Being an entrepreneur, I found myself in spaces where I would be the only woman. And sometimes, on top of being, I might not be the only woman, but I might have been the only Black woman. And that can be an uncomfortable feeling, to know that you don't have that safety net. You don't have that support. You don't have people who believe in you and who are pushing you and saying, you can do this. When you don't have people that you can go and ask questions and say, what are some resources that you use? Because yes, we are in a digital age, but people still don't like to share information. People will leave you out there hanging. And when I saw how it was when I really started becoming an entrepreneur full time, and that it was lonely, that, I talked to my clients, I talked to my kids, I talked to my pets, but that was about it. And so I was like, this is not how this is supposed to be. And that's what I decided to create a network. I wanted to give women that place where they could come and share their ideas, bounce ideas off of each other, get the support that they need, because you need that in starting a business, growing your business, in making more revenue. You still need people who are genuinely concerned about you, who genuinely care about you, and who genuinely want to see you win. And that was when I went ahead, when I created that was what I wanted. And so that is really where the whole concept of the Beauty Brains and Business Network came from. And then me carving out a community for us where we can come together 24/7. So if you are scared, if you're saying, I don't have any support, Dr. Carey, my husband look at me and just be like, girl, don't nobody want to hear all of that. Or he go, yeah, baby, that's good, baby. And he doesn't know anything you're talking about. Your relatives and your friends don't understand what you're talking about. If you're looking for a 24/7 mentor, a group of women who are going to support you, please consider joining the Beauty Brains and Business Network. So registration is open. And again, to learn more about it, you can head on over to my website, thebeautybrainsandbusiness.com. And so my thing is, I'm doing this because we don't have to stay stuck. We don't have to sit here and continue to wait for the government to support us. At some point, we have to start supporting ourselves. We've got to pull ourselves up out of bootstrap. That's what society tells us to do anyway, but they don't give us the tools and the resources to do it. So you have gifts and talents that someone will pay for. I need you to get out of your own way. You need to stop talking yourself out of it. You need to embrace who you are, and you need to embrace why God has you here. That's step number one. Step number two, you need some validation. So send out that text message to 10 people, get some feedback from them, see what's common, highlight what they're all saying, highlight it, see what's common. And then from there, use the ebook to match up your gifts and talents with how you can start generating income right now, at this very moment, sitting at home in front of your computer or on your cell phone. That's going to cost you $0. So when you get your stimulus check, or if you have your stimulus check, you don't have to use it to start a business. You can really use it to pay your bills, to stay on top of things. But I want you to be out there and I want you to start generating some income. So As you know, if you're on LinkedIn, I can't read your comments right now, so I will see them when I get off. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I will be responding as soon as I am. So again, my name is Dr. Carey Yazeed. To learn more about me, head on over to thebeautybrainsandbusiness.com. If you haven't grabbed your copy of my ebook, How to Make Money During the Corona Economy, you need to pick that up. You can't afford to pay for it, that's fine. Just download your copy. If you want to make a donation, I thank you. And I hope that everyone has a good night. Stay safe. And most importantly, stay inside and help those people like me that suffer with asthma. So cannot wait to read your comments. Oh, and if you have any questions, feel free to send me a message, or you can send me an email at drcareyyazeed@gmail.com. So again, hope that everyone has a great evening, and thank you for joining me tonight for my LinkedIn Live, and I'll see you next Thursday.